Welcome to the Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice. There are days like this, times like this, that I just wish that I hadn't stopped drinking. Because of the last 2 hours and 15 minutes, I really could have used copious amounts of liquid mood enhancers, because that would have made what I just watched more enjoyable, or at least more entertaining. I just got done watching Star Trek 902, Starfleet Academy, Starfleet Moody Teenagers, whatever it's called. The much hyped by paid shills, by bots, by whomever. And I have to tell you, after watching it, if I had any faith in reviews from fans at all of stuff like this before, it is all shattered now to the point of no repair. It seems to me that whoever is in charge of the franchises of our youth, whether it be Star Trek, Star Wars, to some extent as the youth part, or at least in my case, Lord of the Rings, have decided to just say, you know what, fuck it. We are going to destroy those good memories, the quality work that was put into making those shows / franchises, and destroy it. Alright. I just got done watching this stuff for less than 10 minutes ago. I had to get some soda. I had to go out and have a cigarette and try and put my thoughts together. But it's not working. Let me try and tell you about this. Okay, so I gave up on Discovery the first few episodes in. I've tried watching some of it again, and I haven't done Strange New Worlds either, but what I do know is that somehow Discovery got shot into like 1,000 years into the future. The Federation has fallen apart. There was no warp speed anymore due to the burn, which Sounds to me like some form of a VD, but but anyway. And now they are trying to rebuild, and this is going to be the first Starfleet Academy class is back on Earth since the burn. And it's a big deal. First episode is you have what is commonly done with a lot of shows where you have the gathering of the central characters. Unlike, say, TOS, where the characters are already there, you have to follow the, every other episode, every other series, and you have to get the central characters together. And this is all the moody teenager types. You have Holly Hunter, who is the eclectic, disenfranchised Starfleet officer who's hundreds of years old, who was with the Federation before the burn, who is brought back because she has a connection to the character that is the central character, I'm guessing. And this is the show starts out, there was a young boy and his mother on some backwater planet that it's rough, it's a bad place. And she had, I guess, been associating with a guy who stole food to help them survive, to keep from starving. And I guess in the process, a Starfleet officer was killed, and we found out that this is where she had been arrested. The bad guy's the Paul Giamatti character that you hear about, with bad face tattoos and multiple rings on each hand, which just screams giant douche if this. And he is because she's the ranking officer on this place. Holly Hunter's character is the judge for this trial. He is getting sent to a prison planet, and since the woman is getting sentenced to a rehabilitation place, and of course they have to separate the kids. It's just bad. It's not like you can send the kid to the fucking rehab, the prison, but we'll get into this section on this later. And then it jumps 15 years to where she has quit because that was a mistake. And an admiral comes and says, "We need you back because we're starting Starfleet Academy back, and we want you to be the chancellor." And she's like, "No." Says, "Oh, we found the boy because he had escaped, and she wants to reconnect with him, and he's had a life of crime since he's a criminal, supposedly." and so you get those together, and then you get introduced to all the people on. There's a ship that they have, which is going to be the headquarters. So this ship can either be out in space, and they're heading back to Earth, and then once it gets to Earth, it will do kind of like a sausage step and have the nacelles and all that stuff go, and it lands in San Francisco, right next to the Golden Gate Bridge, and become the school. So the ship is the school, no matter where it is. So you have that, and then you have a female Jem'Hadar, Klingon hybrid as the XO of the ship and the XO of the school. So, ship and school, who is a caricature. All these characters are caricatures of something. Who is a caricature of a drill instructor type. Some written and portrayed, and I'm not saying the woman who plays this wrote it, but when you have someone who is a drill instructor who is written by someone who hasn't been in the military or dealt with drill instructors, this is written like someone who had no experience, and then portrayed by someone who hasn't done anything like that. So this overly, stereotypical type. You have every different type of cliched character from all different teen shows. Especially, you have the sullen teenager with the troubled past, which is the main character. You have the bully, who is eventually going to become, good with the group. You have the overly eager student, and this one happens to be a female holographic species, person, kind of a nerd who doesn't fit in. You have, just think of it, one of those type of characters, and it is in this show. And you have the woman with the mysterious past who you don't quite know her motives, and she's the one that that all the guys are going to fall for. And in this show, it seems like a couple of the girls too, just because they have to, supposedly. And so you have Robert Picardo portraying the holographic doctor, and then they throw in a couple lines to explain why he looks older than he did during Voyager, which, at least they did that. It was kind of a stupid reason, but at least they attempted to throw something like that in without not, and explain it. So the first episode is an hour 15 minutes long, and it is just, they have to show how edgy this show is going to be by the different characters having this kind of douche lord character portrayed by Paul Giamatti with multiple rings on each hand. Like, have you ever seen people who are sewing and they have that little thimble thing on the end of their fingers? It's like he's got one on like three fingers in each hand, and then just these alts. It's like, dude, how do you even operate things with all that stuff in your hands? And they're portraying him like he's this big badass when he's just, if anyone had a brain, you could defeat him in 2 seconds. And there's that. They have to be edgy by people, just, I'm such and such, bitch. And, there's, this is shitty. This is, far be it from me. I have no problem with coarse language, especially speaking of stereotypical. I am the stereotypical sailor, swearing like a sailor. That stuff doesn't bother me, but it's just doing it for shock value doesn't do anything. And this is what they're doing. Is they're just trying to have these characters say stuff like that for shock value, to show them how we're edgy. And one of the things, excuse me, sorry, I probably won't cut that out because I'll forget, but one of the things about good sci-fi, and the first 2 seasons of TOS fell under this. Season 3 on from Next Generation had a lot of shows like this. DS9, did it. Battlestar, the Ron Moore Battlestar did this, and a few others. They can sit there and they can do a story about a certain thing, and it can make a comment about what is going on in the world without signing big neon arrows at what they're trying to say. Take I forget what it's called, but it's the one with the half and half, half white, half black on one side, and then half black and half white on the other side. Race relations. Okay. That one was a little obvious, but it's still, they aren't doing it. See what I'm saying? They can say, okay, here's what it is in this world, but wink, wink, wink. We all know what we're really talking about. This show did not even have the class, didn't even bother to attempt something like that. They're just sitting there, throwing in all the buzzwords of the day, all the things, and it's just like, dude, can you? And just slamming you in the face with it. Some people are gonna like it, some people aren't, but it's just the clunkiness of it that is just like, and they have to, and also, probably like this video here, there's the tonal shifts. 1 second they're trying to be really serious and overly, dramatic, having this character explain the trauma from their childhood. And the next second, or in scenes behind them, they're having humor, bad humor in it, which just, it's clunky, it's wild tonal shifts while staying in the whole, Starfleet, Starfleet High 90120, Baba Yaga, whatever. And it just, it doesn't work. It really, it's melodrama, and not in the good sense, because melodrama is a form of if done correctly, can be done very well. And it can be very entertaining. This is not. And it's just... I was willing to give it a chance. You know, you get the first episode and the second one, which they just throw certain things in there, like you have to have the inclusion stuff in there, like at one point you see someone in a wheelchair, fine, whatever. But there's a scene which involves some negotiating. With the Beta Zeds. And so you have the Beta Z delegation, his son and daughter are with them. Holly Hunter and the Admiral, who is in charge. They're doing some stuff, but they're like, oh, okay, well, the youth movement of Beta Z wants them to bring down the wall, and so we need to do something. Show them that we have our youth, so they're going to have their youth doing this. Bunch of people from the War College and Starfleet watching this, so they're doing some very, having some very delicate negotiations for Beta Z to rejoin the Federation, and they are leaving it to an admiral and the head of Starfleet Academy to do the negotiations for something that should be done by diplomats. And they're like, hey, I have an idea. Let's have all of our students just sit in bleachers back there and watch. The fuck? No, it's no. And all along with the subplot of dude still trying to find his mother and find this planet that his mother supposedly was on, that Paul Giamatto's character had said was on it and all that. It's just, none of this stuff makes sense. Oh, and then on top of it, the guy you find out was, they're signing for him because he turns out that he can speak. So he doesn't even need to have everyone sign for stuff. And it's just, see, the whole episode, what was the point of that? So, let's say, let's point out some good points. Makeup is really good. It's the special effects, you can tell they put some money into it. There are segments that look really good. The ship interiors designed really well, impractical for a ship in space. But it looks really good. The acting, no. Writing, no. Just the ability to maintain some sort of interest in this for more than any type of minute, no. Because, at first when I was watching this, I'm like, dude, are they trying to do a parody of this? I thought, watching the first 15, 20 minutes of the first episode, I thought they were actually trying to do their version of a Galaxy Quest type thing. And then I realized, no, it wasn't that, because Galaxy Quest was 1, funny, 2, an actual real parody, and 3, well done. And this is None of those. So I'm going to have to give it. I want to give it a 2 out of 5. Only because there are certain things that make it look, because it looks good in certain spots, and that's it. I want to say that I will not watch the third episode when it comes out next week, but I'll probably be lying, and I don't want to say that. But I have no hope for the next issue. I'd love to be wrong and watch the next show and say, holy cow, it improved a lot. But with history being what it is with some of these shows and with the last two, no, it's not going to be so. I'm going to say 2 out of 5 and say not recommend, and leave it at that. You can take my opinion for whatever you think it's worth, but that's what it is. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of it if you watched. Let me know if you intend on finishing watching it. And like, subscribe, possibly share, and I hope you and not the show live long and prosper.